Okay, we left off Tess. Here he speaks about what they call the hemnik, right? Sometimes you have the top of the tip of the lulav. It's like it's bent over. It's like a hook nose. It's bent over. And people, they prefer that. Why do they prefer it? Because it never opens. It doesn't come apart. If it goes straight up, so if slightly, it starts separating. But here it's the leaves, a number of leaves are attached and they bend over. So it's pretty much locked in. It doesn't separate. In Kofov Barosho, right? Until now we're speaking about if it's bent frontwards or goes backwards, okay? So therefore we said it's posel. Vim Kofov Barosho, posel. V'davkik shedroso kfufa. If it's just the top is bent, but the spine is not bent, then it's valid. He says dafka, if the top is bent together with the spine, that's when it's posel. Avol olav kufim Barosho. Let's just the leaves are bent, but the spine is straight. Moshe derech leos harbi loving kosher. Okay, we'll say kufim. The leaves are above the spine, right? That's what protrudes, the upper leaves. Let's see the Mishna Berura. Kofov Barosho. One second. Hainu shoy kofov ka'agmon. Bein lefonov, bein la'achrov. Posul, shein ze hodor. Now this is the famous, we'll say, kfufim. So the mechaber says it's only if the leaves are bent and the spine is also bent. Harosh kosav, oy vani lotzeis, yosef lotzeis bo. It's famous. The Hasidim, they're always looking for the hemnik. They call it the hemnik. When it's bent, upper leaves, because it's based on the Rosh. Rosh says, I prefer that lulav. That's considered the optimum type lulav, where it's bent. Shein olav nechlokin, because when you have the top is bent like a hook nose, those leaves never separate. So therefore, that's the ultimate. Kosev alavush, dafk she'ole el yono levat kfuf. He says that's only when just the upper leaf is bent over. Avalim kulan o ruban kufim koshu, but if they're all the upper leaves are bent over, even slightly posul, then it's posul. Even the Rosh agrees. So when we speak with the hemnik, it's only the upper leaf. Like he has the picture. How would you have the book? It doesn't look like that. Doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like that. The hemnik looks like in this book. In this book, it's that. Here, it looks like this. See this? That's the way it looks. There, it's not. Doesn't look like that way. Okay. Avon kula rubam kfufim koshu poso devari zeshini brioso. That's considered like an abnormality. Bein hodor klal. That's lacking in hodor. Ad kam lushono. That's levush. Ve'atikum ogan avrom das hatash in lechalik bozer. The Tas says no, the Rosh doesn't differentiate whether it's just the top leaf or it's all the upper leaves. Kopona b'diika acher bevari yishlizor shlotzis bezer shoroshi ha'olin kula ruban kfufim. He says there's no question. If the center leaf is bent over, it's fine. But he says this other issue, if it's the majority of the upper leaves are bent over, even slightly, we see it's not so clear. Some say it's a problem. The Levush and the Mogram say it's a problem. Tasa is not a problem. He says if you have an alternative, you have another lulav, which you don't have the leaves bent, you're better off using the other lulav. Rather than getting involved in this question, whether it's hodor or not hodor. Barosha dafka bezeshel nichbaf el barosha nisha chela godu bli kvifa. Avodim gufa oli nichbaf harbi mode lemtze yison. Here we're talking about the tips. What about if the leaf in the center is bent? Like sometimes when things are packaged, in packaging, the upper part is bent over, and because it's packed that way, eventually when you take it out, the spine will be straight, but the upper leaves will be like a right angle. Right? This is definitely it's a problem. There's no question that's posul. It's posul. Shein ze hodor klal v'adinim ole el yoro emtzos she atiyuma nichfo levada harbe lemtziyuso. Gamke posul. Because we're speaking about here only the tips are bent. The tip of the leaf is bent. We're not about the center leaf. It's bent over more than the tip. Kosher v'yishmin aposhem machmim bozer. He says, however, the poskim machmer, some people, I'll tell you, the misnagdim, They don't follow the rush. They makpid not to use a hemnik, not to use where the leaf is bent. What the Hasidim considered the ultimate in hodor, based on the rush. Not everybody agrees with the rush. They're machmir. They prefer not to have it. He says, however, if Mishna Berura says the minig is to be lenient, as Shulchan Aruch says, I'm b'shari tshuva. The shari tshuva here, what does he write? Let's see. Here. Habach kosev nochli zor karan af she'olav kfufim b'rosho. That the Ran disagrees. The Bach says you should take in consideration the position of Ran. Gam shel shraib kos daf sharosh kos shoy oiv lotzispo. The Yavitz writes, although the Rosh says it's something which was preferable to him. Ladas gedoli achronim lo dai sheinu min hamuvchor. He says not only is it not considered optimum, elo shein yotzim bo. Others hold you not even yotzei, although it's just the tip of the leaf. Ubeli Rabbo hevi gam kein dasabach divrabach kosh kein kosav chaygav nishem radvaz miu nir deran lavdavke koshu komar el chelukot l'kofuf. There's a question: what did the Ran mean? Did the Ran mean just the tip is bent? The Ran disagrees. To what degree does he disagree with the rush? Okay, so it's not so simple. So I'm saying the Hasidim, they follow the rush straight. If it has this hook nose like that, that's something which is the ultimate in Hodor. The non-Hasidim, if they could find a lulav which is straight without that, they prefer that rather than having the leaf is bent over on top.
So people who don't have Misora like how should they follow? Should we look for a straight one? I never differentiated beforehand. I never seen a hook one.
No, but you find them.
So the essence really of the hook is that if it is hooked, then the spine cannot be bent.
Not the spine. No. The leaf doesn't split. It doesn't split. No. The spine being bent is not. Spine being bent doesn't happen. It grows abnormally. That's the only time it's bent. Two separate things.
But if it was open, you technically would separate.
No. Bent has nothing to do with split. Splitting and opening are two different things. If it's bent on top, it's not going to come apart.
Right.
So it's not going to split down.
Correct.
So there's nothing to do with bent. Bent is the shape. It's like it's like a semicircle. There's a curvature, like curvature of the spine. Scoliosis. The spine that lulvs that it's puzzle. Right. That we had this earlier.
That's separate from the hook.
That's separate. It's separate. That if the leaf splits, you can have a straight lulav. The leaf splits, it's a problem. If it splits too much.
So there it goes.
It can't split. So the leaf always stays intact.
So the spine is intact, and you have the hook.
So according to Rush, that's the ultimate.
That's the ultimate.
That's the ultimate. Others say no, that's an abnormality. The tip of the leaf being bent over, that's an abnormality.
The road, right? I mean, most of the love them are straight.
Right. Most of them are straight. The center leaf is straight up.
So Rabbi, just going back, so how should we connect this now?
It's okay. Whatever you...
You could probably finagle you could probably bend it yourself.
No. You bend it, you break it. It's very, the tip of the lulav is very stiff. It's not pliable. You bend that, you break off the tip. Then then it's puzzle for sure. Once you break it off, it's like snipping off top of the lulav.
Not as right as the straight lulav. It's very hard to shake those things. I mean, they won't. You can't shake
Like a
them.
stick, like a stick.
No.
What if it has a hemnik?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
They won't shake them.
Okay. Let's go further. Dini Hadas. It's interesting. By Hadas, people, they spend hours picking Hadassim. Today, but today, they really cultivated to a point that if you pay real money, you don't have to spend much time. Not only that, the stem is not even green. It's like a piece of wood. That's the degree. They bring them in, they're called, from Tzfas, now they grow them in Arizona. But you pay, you pay $25 for 3 hadassim. That's what you pay for it, in a sealed bag. And you have 3 leaves, all from bottom to top. What? Yeah. No, so the people, but years ago, it was just green, and they were very, till you find, and they weren't, you would get bunches, and people would pick, and very often when they would pick, they themselves would possibly the hadassim, because by handling them, like today, one time they sold vegetables in the market. Today they prepackage them. Otherwise, they don't want anybody squeezing the tomatoes and picking. By the end of the day, what's left for the other customers, it becomes damaged merchandise. So the same thing today. Everything's like very often prepackaged. You have a problem, you bring it back, because people just by looking and picking and choosing, they invalidate them. So it's interesting. I have a picture of Ramosha. The picture was taken in 1948. He was on Hester Street picking hadassim with a few of his talmidim. So Ramosha then, 48, was already a man in his 50s. So he's holding his bunch. He has a whole bunch. There must be about 50, 60 hadassim in a bunch, the way they used to come, and they had like a tie around them. And he just lifts them up, and like with ease, he picks them. There's no all this looking and spending hours picking. With everything he did was like with ease, Ramosha. You saw the way he had like a smile on his face. He's looking, picking, and like it was 1, 2, 3. He had his hadassim picked, and he went. I understand that.
Well, it has a hook.
That's great. Whatever it is. I told you the story, Ramosha. They brought thousands of sorghum to him over the period in a few days, thousands from Canal Street, which was the location where they sold. Ramosha never got a penny from the Esrik sellers, not a penny. And they, and he was busy with a sorghum day and night, because they would say, you have a question, go to Rabbi Feinstein, he'll look at it. And all day people would bring their sorghum from Canal Street, it's a block away, to Tver Shalayim. So Ramosha would glance at it, he says, it's kosher. So the person felt, maybe Ramosha really didn't look at it well. So he came back maybe hours later. Meantime, he saw hundreds in between. So he comes back, he says, I already told you it's kosher. I saw that one already. You understand? That was Moshe Feinstein. There's a famous story with the real Diskin. And this woman, she brought him a cloth that she checked herself to see whether. And she brings it to her. And while Diskin was a level of genius, you could imagine, it's hard for us to. If he would look at a wall with one glance, he could tell you how many bricks are in the wall. That was his grasp. With one glance, a wall that could have been 15 feet by 20 feet wide, one glance, he could tell you how many bricks are in the wall. So this woman brings him this cloth, and he looks at it, he says, it's okay. Next day, she brings him another cloth. He says, I already saw the cloth. She says, what are you talking about? He says, that cloth has so many threads in it. It's the exact same cloth. Yesterday, my glance, I saw how many threads. It's the same cloth. There's not a different cloth. Understand these people, their level of grasp, besides their memory. But, okay, let's talk about the hadas. Hadas sheniktam rosho, kosher. We spoke about a lulav, which its top is snipped off. It's posel. What about hadas? The top of the hadas is niktam, is broken off, kosher. Noshu rovolov, the majority of the leaves fell off the hadas. This is the myrtle. Im nishtaru shlosha olin bekan echot, kosher. Hear this? Fell off, and the 3 left at one level. That means it's all stripped. On one level, you have three leaves. The Mechaber says it's kosher. It's valid. They have to read. B'shulish. We'll see. So he shows over here, he says, lady, he cites an argument regarding this. Okay, we'll leave this for tomorrow.